welcome to the Raymond Hall Show here where service, a different conversation is our topic. We welcome you today to our show and we look forward to your audience engagement with us. We like to invite you to take a seat, get comfortable, and let's get into this hot, juicy topic. Today our topic will be concerning financial literacy, which we talked about last week, and we're going to get into that topic. And also we have an esteemed guest that's going to be here joining us later, and he has an extensive background in finances and business, and we've brought someone here to be on set with you to answer any questions that you may have, and we look forward to getting to that conversation later. Also, I like to say again, we're grateful, we're thankful, and we're blessed to be living today, because what I like to say is let's just all take a deep breath, because yes, just to bring it all back down. There's a lot going on in the world today, and I'm just grateful to be here. So again, the Raymond Hall Show is a weekly internet broadcast that promotes dialogue on the vital importance of service and serving. It is our hope that the broadcast to provide communication that bridges communities and promotes dialogue that strengthens all the communities worldwide. This is our service at the Raymond Hall Show. Our motto, service, a different conversation, speaks to the guiding principles of the Raymond Hall Show's broadcast. Conversations in service describes people serving to the best of their importance of serving and service. Which, to wrap it up, short and sweet, service is the foundation of our existence. You serving me serving you, with a smile, a hug, a compliment. And it's not about, the big things. It's the small things that make all the difference in the world, which will make a difference in someone else's life. That, you never know. Just a smile, just pick up the phone today. How are you doing? Is there anything I can do for you? That's the motto here at the Raymond Hall Show, that we want each and every one of you to just, catch on. And then, each one teach one. That's our motto. Also, at the Raymond Hall Show, we are the home of a senior salute. At the Raymond Hall Show, we talk about service and servicing. I feel like we're saying this over and over and over again, but this is something that is vital and important in our communities today, because it's really, really needed. A senior salute celebrates the national and the community service life of selected senior age veteran honorees through local ceremonies. That's something where, like my dad was in the Navy, and so he can be celebrated through this salute and just recognized for the things that he did as being a member, in the United States military, and surviving it and being home with us here, and then being able to give back in service, which he does on a regular basis. Also, I wanted to read a little quote that I had from Miss Mary McLeod Bethune from last week. We featured her. And her quote is, "A woman is free if she lives by her own standards and creates her own destiny, if she prizes her individuality and puts no boundaries on her hopes for tomorrow." That's a quote from Mary McLeod Bethune, which was a very, very influential woman that lived and existed, and she did so many things. And so I'm really inspired by her, and I challenge each and every one of you to take a look at her history. Go and take some time and read some things, because now that I've learned and did some research about her, she was a pioneer in her time. So that's why I wanted to just remind us to know that as men and women and children of faith, we all have a responsibility to, for our hopes for tomorrow. So we can never forget that. So that's just a little tidbit from me, Erica Flynn Walker, here at the Raymond Hall Show, just putting my little 2 cents in on it, which I can do. But I just want to say that I appreciate you. Again, we're looking forward to the remaining, 45 minutes of the show where we'll be going into our subject of the financial literacy, and which is something that every day I'm still learning about. It's an ongoing learning experience, and I like to say it's something that I've learned. I'm not learning the basics, So I know it's going to be something really informative, and it's not really a big thing. It's small, but if you just take little small steps towards financial independence over time, you can see a difference. Trust me. $1 a day, $2 a day, or $100 a day, a week, a month. Just spend some, save some. It's just a little bit of, the exciting information that we have coming up in our show. And we like for you to stay with us. Get your pens and your papers. Get ready, because we're going to give you some vital information when we come back from this short break with our panelist that we have, Mr. Stokes. We'll be right back with you. We are the Raymond Hall Show. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at theraymondhallshow.com. Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Raymond Hall Show. My name is Erica Flynn Walker. I'm the co-host, and I'd like to welcome you back. What we're going to do now is talk about a little trending topics, and the trending topic now is a topic that we've been hearing a lot about, which was the hacking of all of our important documents from Equifax. So it's just been released today on CNN that Equifax says that hackers stole more than previously reported. So therefore, that means that we all have to be diligent, which this all ties into our financial literacy. As a matter of fact, we all have to be diligent in staying on top of our business. So when Equifax comes on and says cyber criminals expose millions more people personal information in the Equifax hack than the company reported last September. On Thursday, Equifax said that the breach surfaced 2.4 million more Americans' names and driver's license numbers, less data than was exposed from the millions of other victims. So that's just a little excerpts from Equifax saying that they are going to be notifying each and every one of us as new victims directly, and they will offer identity theft protection and credit profile monitoring to each of us that was affected by that hack. Just as an inside tip, which that's a trending topic right now, and again, it fits right into our financial literacy that we're going to be speaking about. Also, we would like to say that we appreciate your time and energy and being here with us at the Raymond Hall Show. You can definitely follow us live on Facebook, also Twitter and Instagram at the RaymondHallShow.com for engagement, because we want to know what how if you're feeling us. What topics would you like us to talk about? If you have some insight on some inside information regarding service, upcoming events, or maybe you have a parent or uncle that has served in the military and you would like to have them mentioned or honored in some sort of way, we would love for you to, contact us at Facebook. I'm Erica at the RaymondHallShow.com. Or you can contact the Raymond Hall Show, the RaymondHallShow.com on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, YouTube. We like for you to be engaged with us. Let us know what you think, because after all, we are here to support you. Yes, please. We're going to take a quick station break, and we'll be right with you. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in and allowing the Raymond Hall Show to enter into your space. My name is Raymond Hall, and we're here in the studio today with a distinguished guest, Mr. Frank Stokes, and as always, Mrs. Erica Walker. Actually, I want to tell you all the truth so you all know it. She is the boss. The show is just named the Raymond Hall Show. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful thing to be able to be here and talk about service.
Yes.
We can get distracted sometimes with all of the things that's going on because no matter what channel you turn to, there's something going on. But when you look at the basis of it all, when you look at what it is that has gotten us this far, when you scratch away who's got all of the money and who's got all of the prestige and everything, somewhere along the line, there's some service there.
Yes.
That's true.
Okay. And the whole purpose of the Raymond Hall Show is to say, don't get distracted. Pay attention to the fact that it's service and people who have served. And we're not just talking about the military, and we're not talking about structured things. You can serve when you be of service in your community.
Exactly.
Opening a door is service.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Giving a smile.
And last month we talked about those things that had to do with Black history,
Yes,
and we even talked about things you didn't know.
Yes.
The sister that got the first patent on the windshield wiper.
Yes.
And Mary McLeod Bethune.
And we said a quote about her earlier.
Right, and they were what we failed to mention last week because we just it was so much, right? That they're taking down a Confederate statue in Florida and putting her statue there in place. That was monumental.
That's awesome.
That's
Okay.
outstanding.
So sometimes you're not going to hear your name read in history at all.
That's okay.
That's okay because your service still stands for itself. And then sometimes it's going to take 100 years or something for them to consider the service of you.
Right.
But the whole point is that without this service, we can't give. So we turn the page in this month. This is the first day of March, and we're talking about financial service.
Yes.
Okay.
And that was right. Financial services in that little trendy moment was just about Equifax and our credit reports, which all ties into financial services.
Right.
Making sure that you're on top of what's going on with your information and your credit, which is vital.
Okay, that's absolutely. I'm. That's a whole nother show for another month, because it sometimes. Stick to the script, right?
Yes, stick to the script.
Sometimes you can hear something that's just so far out there that it boggles the mind.
Right. What did you hear, Mr. Hall? Is it on the script?
No, it's not on the script, but this was a good thing.
Make it quick.
This was a good thing. Cadillac has a new commercial.
Oh, yes, they do.
And the lady is driving, and she turns the loose, and the car starts driving itself. I mean, completely driving itself.
I'm scared of that.
And then they said, "Eat your heart out, Tesla." And I said, "Ooh, okay." Now that got my attention. But on the other hand, how does somebody steal 1 million credit reports? Somebody should have caught that. Hey, wait a minute. We got 1 million something going somewhere.
And that was the trending topic. They just disclosed it was more than they originally disclosed. That was the trending topic today.
Yeah. So that's, we'll
have to get into Mr. Stokes for him to give us some inside scoop on, what do you do in that instance?
Yeah, well.
Absolutely. We can talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that that's definitely something that we can talk about. But what we want to talk about this month is we want to talk about financial stability.
Yes.
And Mr. Stokes is here with us today, and he's going to talk about planning for success. And he is quite impressive. I was very impressed with his resume. Okay. And when you can say that you have mentored or consulted, been a consultant,
yes,
for over 1,000 persons
yes,
or businesses.
I love it.
Yes.
That's, my first thought was to pick up the phone and say,
let me call you now.
Be 1001.
Exactly.
Okay.
You've been at El Camino. Mr. Stokes, the founder of El Camino College in West Los Angeles, best program and the best mobile accelerator. Exactly. So he is also, Mr. Stokes was the co-founder of the Athens Westmount Business Center, Los Angeles County First Business Incubator. Mr. Stokes, again, welcome to the Raymond Hall Show. Your bio speaks to your service has helped others to be of service by providing jobs, which means financial stability.
Yeah. That was really impressive. But I wanted you, if you would, to talk to the audience and myself as well. Now, what is BEST? What is the BEST program? What is that? What does that stand for?
All right. First, let me say thank you, Raymond, for inviting me.
Oh, you're quite
and
welcome.
having this opportunity. Thank you, Erica. And,
You're very welcome.
I'm really honored to be here.
Okay.
And so that you do know, BEST is an acronym for.
Right.
And it began in 91 at El Camino College. It was known as the Business Entrepreneurial Success Training.
Wow.
That training was a workforce development training, the first and only approved entrepreneurship training by the state of California.
Okay.
This was for the community college system, for workforce development, people who are being laid off who chose not to go back into the workforce, but to pursue their passion, their dream, and create a business
right.
and create their own job.
Wow.
It was a 20-hour week, over 8 weeks, focused business planning, business plan implementation, capital formation, business generation, job creation. So
now, is it still going on in some form or another today? Or
well, actually, I stewarded the program for about 12 years or so at El Camino. Then later, established the Business Entrepreneurial Stewardship Training at West Los Angeles College.
Oh,
Okay, you
Same-
moved up. I heard
Same
that.
same program.
Oh, same program, but you left El Camino
and went to West LA.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically the same program, workforce development program.
Okay.
Okay.
And so moved it to another college, so helping other people. And it was through the urging of some. I had left it and I hadn't dealt with that, and some people, well, can't you establish the program again? And
Right.
I said, sure, let's do it. And then later on, and what you're familiar with is the BEST Mobile Accelerator, which is a derivative of those programs.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because-
Now, is that what I participated in?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. That's quite impressive. That's what I've been talking to you about all this time. Because I would leave your classroom and I would share with her, about
Everything you were telling him and teaching him, and it was really, really vitally important information that was needed.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And this is what the whole program is for, is preparation.
Right.
So that you are deliberate about your success. You have a framework, you've got some guidelines. It's not an exact science, but without a plan, you're planning to fail. So what tends to happen is people have brilliant ideas, they have the zeal, they have the passion, sometimes they have their own capital, but they pursue it without a plan. Yeah.
Right.
And so what you've done in effect is you've increased your probability of failure, and it doesn't mean that you're absolutely going to fail. It just means you're probably going to encounter more challenges than you really
Need to.
if you had a
That's
plan.
right. Exactly. And what I've seen through the years is a great number of people have had a certain level or achieved a plateau of success without a plan, and then so just imagine. And I always say that. Just imagine what you can do now with a plan.
With the plan, right,
Yeah.
right. One of the other things that distinguished, because Mrs. Walker and I, we pursued it from the point that we want a solid business foundation. We want to make sure that we are looking at a business as opposed to, that's a nice hobby, talking about service. What does service mean? That's, okay, let's go to church, tell the people our service, and teach Sunday school something. But the to be able to talk to people about, well, what does the Raymond Hall show do as a business? You don't sell anything, you don't make anything, but what we tell them is we are in the business of reminding them of the business of service.
And you're also in the information media business.
Right.
So you have to take all of those things into account in terms of what it is you're actually doing and what you're accomplishing.
Yeah. Right. And the other thing that was impressive is that, and she and I both experienced that, the business plan is a living document.
Absolutely. That's right.
Okay. But with the accelerator, it was so much easier because the accelerator is engine of itself, and you are really working on what your business is as opposed to working on what the business plan is for your business.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Well, we have a tool. It's a mobile application.
Okay.
So, the one you use on
Like
your
an
phone.
app?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
on
okay.
Yeah.
You got a mobile app. Okay.
Right,
Okay.
right, right.
Oh, okay.
It was like
it's on your phone,
all of that.
on your
Right.
tablet. Right.
Okay.
If you're answering the questions, you're building your content for your business.
Okay.
So
Very
it
good.
simplifies it. It makes it easy, and everybody has their phone, right?
Right,
So
right.
if you have an idea and you're sitting there at the coffee table, or you're sitting there in the coffee shop, or maybe you wake up at 2:30 a.m.
Right.
You got an idea. You
Right.
just get your phone.
Right.
And you can do it. So it simplified the process. I've used a number of other
Tremendously.
Tremendously. What's the name of it again?
Central Mobile Business Tool.
Okay.
Central Mobile's business tool. You heard that?
Yeah, we're
listeners?
gonna give some contact information,
Sure.
and the things that you want to put out there. And we won't call any names in compare, but you know how we looked to get this business plan so it would be able to work and we would be able to, because the whole thing is to be able to access resources.
Absolutely.
Okay. And if you can't fit it in that box that they said it need to fit in, you don't get the resources, and then you don't get to apply for the resources.
Well, again, it gets back to your topic being financial literacy, is that you have to know the language of business, right? So
Okay.
when you're speaking to funders or financiers or venture capitalists or angel investors or even family members, whosoever who's going to help you, you have to give them the language of business so they can understand, they can see themselves in that whole plan and how it relates to them.
Right.
If you don't communicate that very well, it usually doesn't work out for you. If you communicate it well enough, then
They're on board.
They're on board. That's right.
Well, I just know it was considerably easier.
Well, that's good to hear
At the-
because that was the intent, and it's still we're still room for improvement. So anything we can do to improve that process, we're looking at it.
Now, when will that next class start?
April 4th is the next
April
one.
4th.
April 4th.
Okay.
Okay.
And are you able to give us location, or is that something that they'd have to get through your contact information?
They could, if they contact me, I can let them know
Okay.
exactly where, because we have different locations.
Okay. And so go ahead and give us that contact information. We're going to repeat it a couple of times because we want to make sure that if people don't get it the first time, they'll have an opportunity to get it the next time. So,
Oh, okay. Well, you can go to best-genesis.com, and that's best-genesis.com.
Okay.
And that's the program page, and you can find out information about upcoming
Events.
Yeah,
Okay.
right there.
Perfect. I'm feeling it.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just so much that we can talk about.
It is.
I mean, it's absolutely so much we can talk about. But let's look at some kind of basic things. We had spoken about what was it? Take the time to write your vision and business plan.
Yes. Which is imperative.
Yeah, I mean, you have to.
Okay.
And the thing about it is, once you start this process, then you can really get engaged in it, because what's here, you have to, at some point, commit it to writing.
Okay.
And without that, it's just a fleeting idea. And so what you want to do is start talking about that vision. Now, what's powerful about a vision is that the visionary has seen something nobody else can see.
Okay.
So that means that it's something that actually can be accomplished.
Okay.
But you have to start the process of writing about it, talking about it, and walking the steps to make sure that it happens. So writing about it is part of that process.
Moving it.
And the vision simply is what it would look like if you could accomplish that thing that you've seen. What does that picture look like to you?
Okay. So we're tying this, ladies and gentlemen, all to service, because what's important here is when we talk about entrepreneurship and we're talking about business, that what's happening, people are able to provide employment.
Oh yeah. Well, we're in a time. This is a season, and it's been going on for some years now, where there's uncertainty in the workplace. And
Correct.
There are positions that are available, but things are shifting and changing constantly.
Right.
And the only thing that is constant is change.
Correct.
So many people are faced with the decision. They're at a fork in the road where is, do I need to pursue this particular line or career, or do I need to change direction, or do I need to just start my own business?
Okay.
And when people get to that point, I always recommend that you look at the thing that's you're passionate about, the thing that's closest to you, and the thing that you have either a network or some experience or background in. It's going to be easy for you to do it that way. Now, as opposed to someone says, well, I want to start, I want to get an automobile service.
Right.
All right. And then my next question will be, so have you done that before? And if they said no, well, see, that means you're at a disadvantage. It doesn't mean it can't happen, but you got two learning curves.
Right. You got to learn business,
and you got
to learn your trade.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's going to take you longer to be competitive. So I always recommend that you look at the thing that's closest to you, that you're passionate about. That's where you're going to flourish.
Right.
So in writing that, I always challenge you to start writing your vision, and then let's start looking at the planning of that particular vision. How are we going to make it a reality?
Okay.
The other thing that's not talked about very much, and that is the power of writing. You have to understand the power of writing is that writing represents a commitment and a crystallization of thought. And if you don't write it down, then it's a fleeting thought. It's a great idea, but you didn't do anything about it. Now, the simplest example of the power of writing is a grocery list. So when you go to the grocery without a list, what generally happens?
You just buy everything.
Everything looks good.
Right.
So you buy there, you get to the cashier, basket's full, it's overflowing, and you probably got everything you saw that you wanted and more. But what happens when you go with a list?
Stay focused.
You focus, exactly.
Bam.
That's the key.
And half the time when you go and get everything you want, you get home and you forgot the thing that you went in.
Well, that's when you don't have a list.
That's when you don't have a list.
But if you have a list, you probably got everything on the list, and you might have put a few other things in there, but you were focused.
You were focused, right.
And you had an objective.
Okay.
And so you do the same thing with a business plan. That's your roadmap to success. And if you were planning a trip, you would do the same thing. You wouldn't just get on a plane
and go anywhere. You're going to be focused.
That's right. You know where you're going.
Okay.
So that's what it is.
Okay. So it's writing the vision down is going to crystallize.
That's right. That crystallizes your thoughts.
Your thoughts, what's in your head. Okay, so then that's going to understand the power. So create your own business and your own job or revenue stream.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the whole purpose of this is, to do exactly that. And that's why there has to be a level of seriousness, because it's your life. I mean, you don't want to you're not just doing this to find out what it's like. This is
not a dress rehearsal.
That's right. No, you have to get out there and do it. Put your feet to the pavement and create that business, which will be your revenue stream.
Right.
And eventually, you create your own job. As your business grows, you create jobs for others.
Okay, so we're talking, ladies and gentlemen, about sound financial business in the month of March. And we're here in the studio with Mr. Frank Stokes of Stokes Pacifica Associates. Yes, and he has quite an impressive resume and clientele. So if you have a question for him, please give us a call at 323-293-3375. Also, you can follow us on Facebook,
Instagram, and Twitter at theRaymondHallShow.com.
Okay. Well, service, when you look at service from a business point of view, or people providing service through business, I understand that there's more small business people in small businesses and because they talk about small business is the engine, economic engine of the nation.
And it starts with micro enterprise, which is a one person or two person business.
Okay.
And those some of those grow into the big companies that we see today. But in most cases, that's what most people don't start off. You don't start off with a big staff and all this stuff. You just don't have the resources for it.
Yeah, don't we know that?
You generally start off, and then you get traction, and you build, and you build, and you build. So that's where the new jobs come from. New jobs do not come from existing businesses. That's like musical chairs.
Wow.
You know, they're just switching them out.
Yeah, people come up and get out of this. And
The
go
new
there.
businesses always come with new jobs as they grow. So it is the engine, and it's great that people are now recognizing it as such because it's such a vital part of basic economics here. And the other side of it is that America is an entrepreneurial nation, and that's our history. So it's very much a part of our makeup is to just think of all the great inventions and all the things that have happened right here in this country.
What do you think about, or what are your thoughts on funding? Because that seems to be an issue.
Well, capital access is one of the biggest issues for any business. All right, so because you always need resources.
Right.
What I do promote and advocate is, and I know this just from experiences, entrepreneurs are the most resourceful people that I ever meet.
Yes,
I mean, they do well with little. All right.
Okay.
But what you have to do is learn to be resourceful, and that would include capital, which is money and funding and things like that. But you also need human capital. You need technology. You need material capital, and you need social capital. And that's as you're moving through the marketplace, what are you actually doing in the way of accomplishing relationships? All of those things help you.
Right.
But it's not just a matter of just money. You do need money, but part of it is
you need other components to make it.
You need all of those.
Run.
All of those resources.
And speaking of components, Mrs. Walker is going to lay a foundation for us this month. Like I said, we're going to do a series this month. So we're starting with financial literacy. And I understand that it was really impressive. I looked at it, so we're going to put it up on our link. Okay. It's unfortunate. I think that you said that they were not able to put it up.
pull the link, but we're going to.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we put that link up on our webpage, and we invite you to go to our webpage to go to us, and maybe she can read the web address to them when you do yours, and they'll be able to get it from there. But she's going to talk to us about financial literacy. The point is, it's enough to talk about what isn't. Over the course of time, people haven't spent so much on. We recognize what is missing, so we have to do something about it. And I was very impressed with the position that you took on several points. I won't steal your thunder, but it was, it was like, okay.
But I won't give that to them. That was for you.
Well, I got it.
Good answer. Good answer.
For financial literacy. So she's going to talk to us a little bit about financial literacy. We're going to take a little 30-second break. We're not going to take a long break. We're going to take a little 30-second break. And Mr. Stokes is going to stay here with us as a panelist for the rest of the show. But we're talking about financial stability and sound financial decisions. So when we get back, we'll be listening to Mrs. Walker about financial literacy. We'll be right back. Thank you for tuning in to the Raymond Hall Show. And we are back, and thank you again for tuning in to the Raymond Hall Show. And Mrs. Walker,
Yes,
you're
sir.
talking to us about financial literacy.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity, Mr. Hall and Mr. Stokes. I just want to start off by saying thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity. These are just some small things that I did some research on, and that from my standpoint, just being an individual woman that needs to know about financial literacy, has lived it in real time. So what I like to start off with is that it is no secret that financial literacy will inspire greatness. Once you get it, it's going to take you somewhere you've never been before. Through engaging our audience with education, communication to support, advance, and identify service, which is the foundation of this broadcast, is the reason why we're here today, to give you this information. The main purpose, again, is understanding the basic definition of financial literacy, which is to improve financial results, enhance innovation, and ease shortfall in financial-related concerns.
Very good.
Now that means in lay terms.
That means in lay terms, have an emergency fund.
Okay.
Plan for something that you don't want it to happen, but it may just happen.
Mm-hmm. Are you listening to America?
This is important to everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Plan.
Okay, so next, financial literacy is the ability. This is an ability that we all need, and we're learning this every day, to use the knowledge and skills to manage one's financial resources effectively for our lifetime of financial security. Okay, the activities that in my view, in order to get this financial literacy, is how do you generate, invest, spend, and save your money.
That's it.
What are those again?
How do you generate it?
Generate it.
Invest it.
How you invest it.
How do you spend it?
How you spend
and
it.
how do you save it? That's number one.
Okay, so say the last part one more time. Save it.
Save it. Okay, so
don't spend it all.
Don't spend it all.
That's good.
Save something. If it's a nickel, a dime, a penny, anything, put it back, because you're going to need it at some point in time, but you want to have a savings. But let me not get ahead of myself. That was just the first part of the activities and things that are needed as a part of this financial literacy to get this inspired for greatness, for being able to take care of yourself and your family, which is the foundation. Understanding the concept of budgeting. Okay, I know we don't want to talk about it, but understanding the concept of budgeting in order to make a wise decision with your money. Number 3, which view do you have, the short-term view or the long-term view for your financial independence? So this is where, like Mr. Stokes was speaking earlier today, if you think about generating, investing, spending, and saving, if you don't have a job right now, for that person that's sitting at home, if you're sitting at home right now, you might not have a job. What is your passion, in my view, that you can take and you can use that passion and you can make you some money with that passion, whatever it is you like. If you like to draw, if you like to babysit, whatever your passion is, that is a way. Remember in the old school days when you had your nieces and nephews, they were the babysitters? We paid them. You could have a business with something that you love to do in order to get money, because the main thing is about the foundation of security for yourself, because when you don't have financial security, it's just an uneasy feeling.
No, it's more than uneasy. It's more than uneasy, y'all.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So
it's called government cheese.
Right. As I'm going to use this one yesterday. This is just a little inside note that I was told. Right. When you don't have financial literacy, you pop your collar on someone else's shirt.
Yeah. You're popping their collar.
You popping their collar, not yours.
Yeah.
So that's why we're talking about these small details that are not very large and blaring, but just how can I generate some money? How can I invest my money? How can I spend my money, and how can I save my money? Next, creating new opportunities for yourself through your passions. Be socially conscious and consider your purpose. Understand your value and your mission for your life. So if you plan on living to be 100 years old, you need to start making some provisions for that now.
Yeah.
Because you look up and you 100. Like me, I looked up.
You ain't no.
I'm
100.
half of 100. So,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? That's why I know I had to, make it happen. I had to use these same things. And I'm saying to you right now, audience, I'm engaging with you, not from what I heard, from what I know.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's
one of the
good.
things that she's talking about, or with the whole thing that she's talking about, is the reason that we chose financial stability for the month of March. You got tax season coming up. And I'm a little conflicted because as a service-connected veteran, that part of my income that comes from the Department of Veterans Affairs, I don't even have to file taxes on.
Well, see, you got a whole nother angle.
But when I look at the other part and have to deal with it, it's a daunting thing.
Yes.
And then I heard people talking about it's tax season is like Christmas.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That's it?
You getting back all the money that you put in over the year.
That's not my point. My point is, why not have a revenue generating stream all year so filing the taxes is just a part of that yearly duty as opposed to the highlight? I'm getting my taxes back.
I get what you're saying.
But that's the way it's supposed to be anyway.
Yeah, that's right. No,
Well, when you start talking about popping the collar, I think realistically, first of all, when I was reading your material, I thought about a number of things. It's people's business. We're talking about service now.
Yes.
It's people that have created businesses on your business.
Yes.
I heard a car lot says, you don't need no money. Come on down here and get this car and just bring us your income tax check. Isn't that interesting?
Well, it's a marketing ploy, and it
Yeah.
speaks to a certain group.
Okay.
So, those kinds of things, they're predatory.
Right.
But those kinds of things exist, and they take advantage of
Okay.
people. Let me say this, and, without being too lengthy with it, but I did hear something years ago that stuck with me. I was at a meeting, and it was said, the speaker said, it's more expensive to be ignorant. So if you are without information, if you're without knowledge, then you're always going to pay more. All right? But if you have the information,
Put that on the
you
banner.
have knowledge, then you can do well.
You can.
And do well for yourself and your whole family. So it's important to get the information. And I see what Erica is sharing. I accept that as a challenge. So all the listeners today should be up to this challenge so that you become more knowledgeable about your own financial standing. It's always the topic none of us ever want to talk about.
Right.
When it comes to finances, nobody wants to talk about it. But this is the time to talk about it. Be honest with a capital H and make a commitment with a capital C. To do something proactive about your finances. Right. Financial literacy in our coursework, we challenge all of our new entrepreneurs to at least take a look at developing 7 income or 7 revenue streams. And not everybody, maybe you don't get to 7.
Right.
But if you're at least thinking about more than one, because what the mistake has been is that many people have tried to live their whole lifestyle off of one revenue stream. And that is almost impossible.
Impossible, yeah.
You have to give yourself more opportunity and more chances to succeed than that.
Right.
So that's a challenge that I'm making, is for you to take a strong look, and become more knowledgeable, get the training, get the education, talk with people, talk with the experts, and start developing a plan today for success tomorrow.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you, we definitely want to thank Mr. Stokes, and I definitely wanted to thank Mrs. Walker. I mean, I'm going to remember that the most expensive position to be in is a position of ignorance.
Exactly.
Okay, that's the thing. We're coming up to the last few minutes of the Raymond Hall show, so we want to do a little housekeeping work here. There's a young man that I must remember. It's a man that both Mr. Stokes and I know. His name is Mr. Donnie McGuire, and he's passed on. But this young man was remarkable. When I met him, he worked for the ports, and he would pull that truck over if he heard about a homeless veteran. He pulled that truck over and stopped and find out if he was homeless and get them some service. That's how we met, and he's passed on now, but we definitely want to remember the service of Mr.
Absolutely.
Stokes. The California Senior Legislature, we talked about that, and they have posted proposals, so you can go to their website, and it's www.4csl.org. Again, that you can go to the www.4C as in Charlie, S as in Sam, L as in Lima.org to more, and we'll be giving you more information on that. CalVet, in association with the Gary, now I may or may not say this correctly. Sinisi. Okay. Gary Sinisi Foundation on March the 8th will be holding a workshop on what it takes to become a firefighter.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so you young people that's interested in being of service as a firefighter, make sure you check that out. The webpage is http://bit.ly/2 capital O lowercase a k capital U H, and we'll have that posted on our web page as well. And finally, for me, American Legion Post 109 meeting is going to be March the 19th at 6:30 at Crenshaw United Methodist Church, 3740 Don Felipe Drive in Los Angeles, 9008. And did you have some things going on in the community and where?
I just want each and every one of you to go to our website at the end of the show and make sure to follow it, because we're going to put all these things up on our website for you to ponder over. That was what I want to say.
All right. And Mr. Stokes?
Two things. Mobile apps I'll challenge you to download. One is America Saves. The other is Credit Wise.
Yes.
And they're both helpful to you.
Okay.
And for anyone who is interested in starting or developing their own business and need help with their plan, visit best-genesis.com, or you could call 310-853-3326.
Okay. Well,
Thanks a lot.
We want to thank you all so very much for allowing us into your space again. You can follow us on the social media platforms that we have.
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Okay.
At theRaymondHallShow.com. And I just want to close it out with saying we know that creating an inclusive and diverse culture requires more than words. These represent just a few of many ways to help advance and empower men, women, and children to financial literacy. By clear and decisive steps that inspire us to reach our potential, you'll soon find that our community will be stronger for it. Thanks a lot. I'm Erica Flynn Walker, and you have a great day. This is the Raymond Hall Show.
Okay, we're going to say good night. Thank you for tuning in to us, and remember, let your service speak so others may be able to have service as well. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week. Have a good evening.
Ta-ta. Have a great evening.